Listen, of course, broadcasters have an absolute duty to report terrorism. The argument that says it encourages it is codswallop. Huh? Any producer worth his salt will tell you that.
I'd shoot a lot of them.
What, producers?
Terrorists, I mean, sympathizers, the whole lot.
Uh-huh. Trouble is you don't know who they are. Look at Jane Minto over there. Nice, middle-class girl, eh? Probably votes SDP, wouldn't you, sir? Not a bit of it. Hey, Mata Hari. He knows her name. I was just telling Michael here.
Hi.
Cheers.
That you're in the pay of the Kremlin. That's right, isn't it?
If you say so, Richard.
Can't keep a little hands off the scripts. Half of what we broadcast is gobbledygook.
Now, how would you know? You'd be pushed to part low-level German.
I know enough to have found out what you're up to.
Pissed as a newt. Ignore him.
Who's that strange-looking one? You know, by the fireplace.
God only knows. Came with Eleanor Makepeace, I think.
Oh?
Another of her lame dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Kann ihnen nicht notwendigerweise entsprochen werden. In diesem Falle sollte sofort Rechtsauskunft eingeholt werden. Ort der Bestattung. Falls nicht auf Kabinettsbeschluss eine anderslautende Regelung gefällt wird, ist der Gemeindefriedhof normalerweise Ort der Bestattung für Bürger der Gemeinde. In dicht bevölkerten Gebieten werden Friedhöfe und Krematorien entweder durch die Lokalverwaltung oder durch private Firmen bestimmt und Beisetzungen erfolgen dort in Übereinstimmung mit den jeweils gültigen Vorschriften. Armenbegräbnisse können gebührenfrei von der Kommunalverwaltung durchgeführt werden. Und mit diesem Hinweis endet die heutige Sendung, so stirbt es sich in Großbritannien. Ich melde mich wieder am kommenden Dienstag. Bis dahin, auf Wiederhören.
Thank you, Jane. Very nice.
Thank you, Richard.
I'll slip out. Make myself a bit scarce.
Hope you found it useful.
We'll be in touch.
Good night, Caroline.
Most enjoyable. Sorry I can't stop.
Night, then. Who was that? I've seen him somewhere before.
Oh, just some chap from the COI. Thinking of doing a documentary on our organisation.
Another one?
Studio 2? Okay. Neil, we're wanted up on the 4th floor. See you, Jane.
Hello? Hello?
Trebizond.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? Hello?
Much on today, Gov?
As it happens, not much. So I suggest you take yourself and this disgusting heap to the nearest car wash and improve our jaded image.
Yes, Gov.
morning, Joe. Anything of startling interest today?
How about Trebizond?
Trebizond? Oh.
There was a woman on the telephone. All she said was hello, and then just one word. I asked her to repeat it, but she hung up. I think that what she said was Trebizond.
So what did you do?
I consulted Flossie. The first cross-reference was to Armenia. Apparently there used to be a lot of Armenians in a place called Trebizond, about 14,000 of them, most of whom were systematically put to death by the Turks in 1915.
Together with a further million in other parts of the Ottoman Empire, the forgotten genocide of the 20th century.
It was the Turkish Airlines office in Paris that was destroyed yesterday.
Yes, well, the Armenians are still a bit touchy about the whole thing.
But it's ancient history, for goodness sake.
And destined to remain so. There was a move at the UN 9 years ago to register the genocide, but the Americans at the time were trying to persuade the Turks to eliminate their poppy crop, so they instructed their representative not to vote. I'll need a plain envelope, Joe.
So they devalue the deaths of 1 million Armenians in favour of a few American junkies.
Well, that's part of the course, isn't it? Cool.
Oh, your favourite top copper's on his way over to see you, sir.
Latimer coming here?
That's what he said, in half an hour.
It must be important. He thoroughly disapproves of this place.
He did say it was very urgent.
Right. Get Danny back in, sharp. I want him to pick this up before Latimer gets here.
Taxi!
I'm sorry, but this is my taxi.
I'm afraid not, madam. I saw him first.
I've been waving at him all the way down the street.
Then clearly he didn't see you, did he?
I think that if you asked him, he'd tell you that he did.
Hello, Badger. Come home, please. We have a VI package for you to deliver to the laundry as soon as possible. Over?
Badger the Weasel, I'm coming in.
Well, what's he got
out.
to do with it? For God's sake, I've got a train to catch.
No,
Sorry about that. I've got another job. You give her a piggyback.
How the hell am I going to get to Manchester for this appointment now?
Can I offer you a gin, Latimer?
In this floating palace, I expect to keep it on draft. Perrier water, please.
How is the ulcer?
Not helped by being here.
I assumed you might have been leaned on a little. I'm afraid I've only got sparkling Malton. Will that do?
Yes. We've got a case all wrapped up. Not even a jury of card-carrying members of the PLO has let this one off. We're just about to pull her in when someone on high remembers your outfit. Check it with Percival first, they said, and that's what I'm doing. Checking it out. And that's all, understood? Minto. Jane Minto. Broadcast to East and West Germany. Name mean anything to you?
Jane Minto. Good Scots name. I'd need to run it through the computer.
No, I don't want to delay on this one. I want her inside fast.
Why the rush? What's she been up to?
Paris. She's almost certainly part of the group that blew up the Turkish Airlines offices yesterday.
Your department isn't exactly noted for its cooperation with the French. What's in it for you? A day trip to Boulogne?
Let's just say they can help us out with something else at the moment.
Well, if I'm to help you, I'd need to see your file on the woman. Meanwhile, may I advise you not to jump the gun over her arrest? From what you tell me, she's a German speaker, possibly of Scots extraction. On the whole, it's the Greeks and Armenians who have a penchant for blowing up Turks.
I don't give a brass farthing whether she comes from Armenia or Aberdeen. In my book, she's the lowest form of life.
Happily, there are still some forms of life that haven't succeeded in crossing the channel in any alarming proportions. I'd like to keep it that way.
What are you saying, then, eh? Just let her go?
I'm merely urging softly, softly.
What the hell for? She'll make contact. She'll be away once she knows we're onto her.
Only if your heavy mob camp too obviously outside her front door. I take it you have her under surveillance?
Yes, I can tell you every time she blows her nose.
And keep her in your sights by all means, but make no other move until I give the word.
Look, I told you when I came aboard. I'm just checking it out. I'm not taking orders from you or anyone else for that matter.
And that is nonsense, Latimer. I'm sure neither you nor I would want our respective lords and masters to hear that we have been squabbling, particularly over something on which they are bound to agree. Don't look so glum. Your boys will get all the glory in the end. On the whole, my lot prefer not to draw attention to themselves.
Minto, Jane Mary, born 1949, British. Parents naturalised British, originally Armenian. Educated Clarkson School for Girls, Folkestone, University of Bristol, degree in modern languages. 1970 researcher, 1975 concentrated on writing. Contributed to the New German Review, broadcasting regularly since 1980. Political affiliations, none known. Is this our lady from Trebizond?
Cross-reference that information from Latimer's file with yesterday's bomb in Paris, with Armenia, and with Trebizond.
So we did know her already.
We knew her.
I bet she's never even been to Armenia. Tales on her daddy's knee as a little girl. Romantic bloody nonsense.
Genocide's hardly romantic, Danny.
Exactly.
I don't see what she's done. I mean, she's not even listed as associating with other Armenians.
What she's done is to broadcast information helpful to terrorists in the German-speaking world. Times, places, safe houses, rendezvous points. Things that isolated groups of people all over Europe need to know.
How'd she do it?
Well, by changing a few words here and there in her transmissions. Good old-fashioned code, easily read if you know what to look for. Otherwise, sounds perfectly harmless. Percival? Latimer. Oh, Latimer. I'm afraid I haven't got around to reading your material on Minto yet. But thank you for sending it over.
Well, you better get a move on. She's made contact. We don't know who with, but it could be the KGB. It happened at,
2:30.
2:30 this afternoon.
That's 3 hours ago.
Yes, well, it took us a little time. It was a postman. We checked him out, and there aren't 2 deliveries a day in that part of SW1.
Good work, Latimer. Well, I'll get onto it as soon as I can. Meanwhile, we still do nothing. I'll be in touch. Latimer thinks that you were the KGB trying to make contact with Minto.
Oh, well, nice to have fooled somebody, Gov.
Oh, we must give him credit for realizing that the Soviets are involved.
Are they?
Oh, almost certainly. Gold for Armenians is a small price to pay for unrest in neighboring Turkey.
What did you mean? Danny was trying to make contact with Minto.
Danny made contact with Minto.
The other ranks are getting a bit puzzled, Gov.
You really have been jolly cagey this time, sir.
What's this? Mutiny on the Mary Celeste? What do you want to know? I don't promise to answer.
What the hell are we up to? Latimer lands some female who for the past 4 years has been in contact with just about every terrorist group operating in Europe. And I start delivering her love letters? Now why? Can't be because you don't like Latimer.
That's not the reason. Latimer and I may not like each other, but I can assure you we're working to the same end, even though we may differ as to methods.
How was Minto found out?
Apparently from a chance remark at a party by her producer, one Richard Ellison. That's the point. Try Ellison.
Yeah, I know the case officer on this one, Gov, if it's any use to us. Nobby Usher. Chief Inspector, little monkey. Oh, Nobs and me, we used to be at Limehouse Nick together.
Richard Ellison, nothing known.
Time we changed that, I think.
Valley Road, coming up.
Ah, Aldington Mansion's just down on the left. Wait for me further down the street.
I'm terribly sorry, I didn't hear you. Have you been there long?
Your outside front door was open, so I took the liberty of coming up. Mr. Ellison?
Yes.
May I come in? I'm a colleague of Mr. Usher. He works for me.
Oh, of course. Yes, please do.
Thank you.
I had my headphones on, I'm afraid.
No. Let's be thankful that I wasn't a fire brigade.
Yes. Come in.
Thank you.
So, what exactly can I do for you?
I thought I should come round in person to thank you for all your help.
Please, sit down. Is it over?
Over?
Jane, has she been arrested?
Oh, I'm sure someone's taking good care of that side of things.
Jane is a very close colleague. The last few weeks have been awful. Not knowing what was going to happen, I felt so guilty every time I've seen her.
Yes, I'm sure. That's particularly why I wanted to express our gratitude.
I'm sorry, would you like a drink?
I think I see some of my favorite malt over there.
I think I expected you to say not while I'm on duty.
What makes you think I'm on duty?
Well, I assume this was a sort of official call.
No, more of a friendly chat than anything.
Uh-huh.
What made you suspicious of Jane Minto in the first place?
Just the way she used to tinker with the scripts for no apparent reason. Sometimes she'd even change facts and figures that I knew were wrong.
An irritating habit in a colleague, certainly, but enough to conclude that she was betraying her country?
Oh, in itself, no.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
After a time, I realized it must be some sort of code she was using. That she was actually broadcasting information over which we had no editorial control.
Did you glean what this information might be?
Occasionally, yes. Once I'd worked out the nature of the code. I brought the transcripts for the whole of this year home with me one weekend. Shortly after that, there was a bomb outrage in Ankara. Suddenly the whole thing became clear to me. Or at least I thought it did. She's Armenian.
Jane Minto, surely not.
Yes. Both parents were Armenian. Came across here before the war.
She told you that herself?
Well, I'd say I found out.
But you put it to her?
Oh, she made no secret of the fact.
Really? It's a strange lapse, wasn't it, for someone working for an Armenian terrorist organization?
I suppose so. I never thought about it.
But obviously you did. Otherwise we shouldn't be sitting here supping your Glenmorangie.
I didn't really know what to do. In the end, it was taken out of my hands. I'd had a bit too much to drink one night. Found myself in company, talking about Jane, what I thought might be happening. The next day, your man Usher called me and came to see me. The rest you know. I must say I'll be glad when the whole thing's over.
Well, that's unlikely to be for some time.
But do I have to be publicly involved?
Oh, no, I think it's highly unlikely that your name will come into it at all.
Ah, good. Well, it'd be awkward at work, you see, if it was known that I'd informed on a colleague.
Yes, one never quite loses that abhorrence of the school sneak, does one? However, in this case, there's rather more at stake than pilfering tuck.
Any chance of us getting home tonight?
I want you to do one more thing for me. Stop at the next call box. I want you to make a call. I'll do it myself, but Latimer's bound to be listening in, and I'm told I have a rather distinctive voice.
You could say that. Who am I calling? I hope you know what you're doing.
I'll give you the 5p.
Come on, what's your number?
I'll have your life.
Hey! Don't you go anywhere, come on. No.
Morning, Joe.
Ah, morning, sir. I've just had Latimer on the phone. He sounded very angry.
Oh, not surprised. Did he leave a message?
He told me to tell you that Minto had given him the slip.
Oh, that's good news.
And he holds you personally responsible.
Splendid.
But I don't understand, sir. Why not let Latimer arrest her?
Because there's still something she might do for us. Gin and...
Tonic.
One gin and tonic, and I have some Perrier for you.
Scotch and water, please.
Oh, one large scotch.
I wouldn't like to be in your shoes over the next few weeks, Percival. There'll be a full investigation, and I'm damned if my department's going to take any of the blame.
Blame?
Usher, tell him.
A known terrorist, probably in the pay of the KGB, has not only been allowed to escape, but on her way stopped off to commit a murder.
The press will have a field day.
Now we must make sure that they don't tell the whole story, mustn't we?
I'm doing nothing to save your skin, Percival.
Latimer, I'm afraid I haven't played quite fair with you over this. Jane Minto was one of mine. Well, first and foremost, she was one of theirs, but just occasionally she'd work for me as well.
I don't believe it.
Most of what she broadcast was pretty harmless stuff, rendered more so by my being able to monitor what was said. From time to time, I'd make the script changes myself, and then she'd broadcast what I wanted.
She was a known terrorist.
It may have escaped your attention, Mr. Usher, but Armenian atrocities have, on the whole, been confined to the other side of the channel. I helped to keep it that way by using Minto.
You used Minto to murder Ellison. Now, you expect us to tolerate that?
Why not? Ellison was a Soviet agent, a sleeper in place, waiting to be used. Murder, was it? Or just two agents squabbling amongst themselves?
All right, what's your evidence?
As you no doubt realize, the code that Minto used was a KGB code, changed every week. A fellow Soviet agent, such as Ellison, would have spotted it immediately. So, when I started to use Minto to pass false information, Ellison must have realized that she had to be got rid of. What better way to demonstrate his loyalty to both sides than to draw your attention, Mr. Usher, to Minto's activities? Oh, yes, Ellison knew perfectly well what he was up to when he unburdened himself in your presence.
Then why the hell didn't you tell us this in the beginning?
For two reasons. First, I had to stop you arresting Minto until I knew who had betrayed her and why. And secondly, I knew nothing of Ellison until I read your file. So you helped to put me on his track. Thank you very much indeed. Would you like me to have a look at your redrafted report before you send it in?
No, I'll just hand it to that girl of yours, and you, sir, you can write it up.
A pleasure. At This key opens locker number 22 at Victoria Station. Inside you will find an Adidas bag which contains, among other things, a gun. Lose it.
That phone call I made last night was to tip her off about Ellison, wasn't it?
Yes. She knew as well as I did that she'd been betrayed, but not the identity of her betrayer.
And I supplied her with that information.
Well, you can put in for compassionate leave to attend Ellison's funeral if your conscience is troubling you.
We fouled it up, didn't we?
It does seem to be something of an own goal. I mean, no matter what you say, sir, she did get away, didn't she?
Not for long. Suppose she'd been arrested, tried, and sentenced here. Her friends in Europe would have had no compunction to take hostages to bring about her release, thereby placing Her Majesty's government in a predicament they would rather not face.
Oh, so to protect ourselves, we turn one more loopy woman loose in Europe, free to go around committing God knows what kind of atrocities.
I doubt it. Ellison will certainly have told his masters about Minto's double role. Her escape from these shores with our assistance merely means that even as we speak, she is exchanging British justice for a rougher code administered either by her Armenian friends or by the KGB.
She'll be killed.
Oh, certainly. A mandatory sentence for a double agent whose cover is blown. Well, at least she took Ellison with her, and we had the satisfaction of knowing that we didn't foul our own backyard.